And you, George?
And Steve is here, it looks like. Happy Canada Day, folks.
To you. Uh,
There you go.
Nada day. Other side, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this side. Nada. Yeah, like I was just telling Scott, took my wife out for a barbecue at Harvey's.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really want to slave over a barbecue tonight, just to the 44 humidex and then the heat
Yeah.
from a barbecue that you get in the house you don't want to eat.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
not
I don't
worth it.
know. And the thing is that people don't realize it. They go to the beach and you can get sunstroke so quickly.
Oh yeah.
You don't even know it, but and it can make you sick. I've had sunstroke a couple of times in my life, and I didn't like it, not at all.
Pretty horrible. We're not used to it. We haven't had much of it this year. We're not used to it.
Yeah,
I don't know how you get used to it. I don't like it at all.
well, I don't know. But, people say you get acclimatized to it. I mean, I saw workers out there today, and I don't know how they did it, but
Ooh.
I, I would think that there'd be some sort of rule against, working a
yeah, there,
certain
there is
amount
a
of heat.
rule,
Yeah,
a temperature rule, but yeah, but Europe's getting hit as well.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the AC that we have.
No,
Yeah, that would be awful.
No, and they certainly don't. They don't have as much. Uh-uh. And well, I remember when I was a kid without AC, and there were nights you just couldn't sleep. I mean, it was just too hot.
Yeah, it can be pretty nasty.
But yeah, Europe got hit hard, and the lower states got hit hard too.
Oh, it's really bad. They show stuff online. People's flip flops are melting and sandals and 110, like it's 110, 115 here with the humidex, while
Yeah,
their temperature is 115 degrees before there's any humidity or anything like that. And it's
that's
like,
right.
oh my God,
Yeah,
just, yeah, oh, no.
I I have an acquaintance from Jamaica that I was talking to today, and she says, you know, we are used to the heat, but not this kind of heat because they
Yeah.
don't have the humidity.
You
So,
think they would.
yeah, you would think with ocean and everything else. But there. Okay. So, I was going to talk a little bit about fireworks tonight and how to photograph fireworks, but I think you guys pretty well know how to do it. I don't know who's on YouTube here. If you're on YouTube, let me know. Are you interested in a couple of pointers on fireworks? Because we do have a couple of people on YouTube. Let me know who you are and where you're from. That would be very helpful. And of course, I'm going to ask for a like at the end of this and a subscription. So subscribe. It's free. So please do that. But let me know if you're interested in fireworks or a couple of pointers on fireworks. I've got a couple of samples of how it should be done and maybe two samples on how it shouldn't be done. But it's most of it's pretty logical. And I know that there are people who try to do it with their cell phone, and it can be done, but you need an app for that to be able to extend the so-called shutter time on a cell phone. It's not a true shutter, of course, but an electronic shutter. Okay, well, like I said, if you're on YouTube, welcome. I see there are a couple of people there. Let me know who you are, please. That would be fantastic. But I will start off by, let me just go up here. I will start off by saying that we're going to have on the 22nd, we're going to have Jeff Shaw here talking about his wedding photography and his approach to it, the equipment he uses, trials and tribulations he has with weddings, and it'll be a good talk from him. So that's going to be fantastic to have him here. I'm also talking to a few other people. I'm nudging their, uh, well, let's just say I'm prompting them because they said they would come on, and I'm prompting them. I won't tell you who they are yet because I need to get a commitment first. But there are a couple of people that are going to be fantastic if they do come here. And if you have any suggestions as to who you might think you would want to come on to uh, our chat, I'm open to suggestions. If you have anybody that has some sort of unique photographic capability or does some interesting thing, like Scott with his painting with light, that would be great because Scott's presentation here, which is on YouTube still, and I haven't looked at how many hits it's had, but I think it's well up there, Scott. Yeah, you're a popular guy. What can I say? So, any suggestions are welcome. That would be fantastic. And I think I see something here from. Oh, okay. Janet from Mississauga. Yes, well, Janet, you're becoming a regular here. Fireworks would be interesting, but I won't have a chance anytime soon. Not going anywhere tonight. Well, yeah, I almost don't blame you. Tonight is going to be very wet out there because I don't think this rainstorm, we had a heck of a storm here. The power went out twice. And I think that you better take a tarp to sit on because it's going to be wet if you're going out to shoot fireworks. And Scott, I don't think you're that interested in fireworks. You've got fireworks regularly at Niagara Falls.
Every night.
Yeah. So I would imagine you have some great fireworks shots.
It's been a while since I've been down there, but yeah, I like shooting fireworks. It's just
Yeah.
you got to go down the crowds and blah blah blah, and they're basically once you've seen them once, they're kind of the same. Rinse and repeat. It's not a different performance every night, right?
Yeah.
But if you do like doing it, you go down a few different nights throughout the summer. You can. That's the one thing you can pick your conditions, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Um, yeah, we can hear them. We're at the other end of the city, totally the other end of the city from the falls. Then 10 o'clock, boom, they start every night, right? So yeah, scare all the dogs in the city.
Yep. Okay. Well, you know what? And uh, I don't want to get into politics at all in this whole chat, and hopefully this doesn't lead us there. But I know that there are some people who are immigrants in Canada, and when the fireworks goes off,
Who
it's
can you
traumatic.
imagine? Yeah,
Yeah, it's traumatic for them.
yeah, it would be.
And
Yeah,
yeah, even jets going overhead is traumatic for some people.
yeah.
And I can understand that. You come from a war zone. These are very dangerous things if you hear them. And I can understand how they're affected by it, but I don't know. I hate to
Well,
say, well,
the tourist dollar does come first, right?
yes, it does, unfortunately, or fortunately,
Yeah.
whatever. But and we don't do it that often. We don't have fireworks as much as we used to, and I think that
No.
the illegality of using fireworks outside of special occasions and holidays has been tightened quite a bit, and it should be because people are so careless with fireworks outside of the holidays. I think they are anyway. I remember going to a friend's place for fireworks, and he bought all these beautiful fireworks, and he was out there lighting them off, and none of them were working correctly. They would make a big flash and kind of a little bubble, and a few things would go up in the air, but now not like they should. So I walked over and I says, what's going on? What's happening here? It's not working the way it should." He says, "Yeah, I don't understand it." He was putting them in upside down into the ground. I said, "Well, that'll do it."
Yeah.
And so the rest of the fireworks were great. But yeah, when you do it in the dark, I suppose you can get confused a little bit. Okay. All right. Jen. Well, for your sake, I'm going to go through this fireworks thing, and I'm sure that, listen, if you guys, after I go through this, say, if you have any tips that you can add to this, I'm open to that. It's not going to take very long. I only have a few points that I want to go through. So let's do that right now. And here's
Nope, can't hear you, George.
here we go. Number
There, yeah.
one, use a tripod. And because if you don't use a tripod, your camera won't be good and stationary and your fireworks will be wiggly. I've got a couple of samples of that kind of thing that I will show you. Tripod is very important for a good clear image.
Oh, you're gone silent again.
There, let's try that.
There you
I
go.
don't know why it's going silent on each time I change, but let's see. It might work this time. Anyway, shoot manual mode. Set your camera to manual mode so you have control over the exposure settings. Start with a low ISO. A lot of people start with a high ISO because they think it's dark, so I need a high ISO. No, no, not necessarily. Don't look at the darkness. Look at the brilliance of that fireworks. If your fireworks, when you take a photograph, it has no color in it, then you're giving it too much exposure and you're letting the meter doing the reading for you. The meter sees the night and it will overexpose your fireworks. So what you should do is do a test. Low ISO, 100, 200, and then aperture you can have at about f8, f11. Your shutter speed is going to be something else. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the important thing is get color. Get the color in your fireworks. And that means exposing for the fireworks, not the night sky. Okay. Yep. All right. Did it again. Number three, use a remote shutter release so that you're not touching the camera. This will help from getting that shake into the fireworks, especially with the long exposure times. I know that some cameras only have bulb, which means you have to have your finger on the shutter while it's open. When you let go, it'll close. That's why I suggest a remote. Better yet, use T. If you have T for time, press the shutter, it'll open, press it again, it'll close. So that's better than using bulb. Okay. Now, 4, focus manually. Autofocus can struggle with this low light, and the distance that you're focusing at might as well be infinity. So set your camera to focus at infinity, focus in manual mode. When the first fireworks comes on, you can see it, focus, get a nice sharp image, and leave it at that. Because your autofocus will be struggling and it'll be trying to zoom in on the focus and it won't be able to do it. It'll just go back and forth on it. Frame your shot. Find a good vantage point that will showcase the fireworks in the sky. Consider including some of the foreground. It'll give us some context. And that helps us sometimes. I mean, fireworks by themselves, great. But if you can include a little bit of the foreground, give it context where the fireworks are and maybe some of the people down there, that will improve some of the photographs. No, not all of them have to have that, but it helps to have at least a couple with that kind of content. And 6, experiment with different exposures. Try different exposures. Uh, they're very intense. So this brings me back to your aperture. The only control you have for exposure when you're shooting fireworks is aperture because your shutter is going to be open for a long time. Your shutter is no longer controlling exposure. The only two things you have left is ISO and aperture. That's why I usually say start off with f8. And it probably won't be enough. You might have to go to f11 or f16 to get that color in the fireworks. Okay. Number 7, Timing is key. Anticipate when the fireworks will explode. Be ready to press the shutter button at the right moment. Keep shooting in rapid succession to increase your chances of capturing the perfect shot. Usually, you can tell when fireworks is about to go off. If you're in view of where they're set up the fireworks, you can see the guys walking around with a punk or a lighter, and they're setting off. As soon as they light one, you know it's going to happen any second. If you open your shutter, it's a dark sky, so you're not going to overexpose the dark sky, but when the fireworks, you'll actually get a trail of the fireworks going up, and you'll get that bloom, and it'll be beautiful. Number 8, edit your photos. Use some photo editing software and enhance your images by adjusting exposure, contrast, saturation, so forth. There's nothing wrong with improving your photography by using a little bit of post-production on them. And finally, practice makes perfect. Fireworks are a challenging subject to shoot. So don't be discouraged if your first attempts are not perfect. Keep practicing and experimenting with different techniques to improve your skills. And ask us old guys what it's like to shoot fireworks with film. And you don't know what it looks like until you get it back from the lab and you've paid for bad shots. So, yeah, at least you can look at it right away and say, okay, I know what I have to do. I've got to get more colors, so I have to underexpose a little more, or I have to keep the camera steadier, or I should have a remote. And remotes are not that expensive, and they're great for shooting fireworks and many other things. And remotes are better than self timers. By the way, you can use a self timer, but it's harder to really synchronize a self timer for when the actual fireworks goes off. So be aware of that. So here we go. I'm going to let's see. Yeah.
Oh, you're quiet again.
Yeah. These lines are wiggly. They should be straight. And the reason they're wiggly, it's handheld. So you're going to get this kind of wiggly line and this kind of wiggly lines if you're shooting fireworks handheld. On a tripod, you're going to get nice, steady, straight streaks like this. And the important thing is when you first open the shutter, it would be nice that that's when it actually explodes, because then you get that hot centerpiece. And then leave the shutter open so the bloom finishes. Let the bloom finish. Let the sky go dark. Then you've had the whole fireworks effect. Because sometimes on some fireworks, other fireworks happen at the tip of the spears that come out. So you should wait for that. Don't miss that. Taking fireworks one over the other, sometimes they follow very quickly. So if you leave the camera open, you might get one bloom and then you might get another bloom right next to it or right behind it. So there'll be quite a few explosions or fireworks effects that you can capture that way. And like I was saying, what you want to do is if you can capture a little bit of the foreground, a little bit of where it's happening and what's happening, I think that adds a little bit of context. This is a good thing to start the fireworks display. If you're going to have a PowerPoint or if you're going to show this to other people in a PowerPoint fashion, then it's nice to have this as the first shot and then more of the fireworks. Because some people will appreciate to see where it is, how many people were there, and they'll appreciate the fireworks effects after. Not everybody gets a chance to go out to see the fireworks, so this is a nice presentation to show them. Here's another one. And there's nothing you can do on a still night. If the wind's not blowing very much on a still night, you're going to get a lot of smoke that will also interfere possibly with the fireworks, but that's all part of it. On a night when there's a little bit of a breeze, smoke clears off a little bit quicker. On a very windy night, it can actually blow the fireworks and make it so that the streams and the blooms are a little bit different than this. So that's my fireworks presentation. And I know that I covered, what, 9 points, and that's about it. But if you follow those 9 points, at least it's a good start. And then you can experiment, like I said. Anybody else here want to chip in on this? Maybe have something to say about taking fireworks? Anybody new? Or have I nailed it?
Done, done it. You got everything right. I'm personally, I don't like including the crowd, but everybody's different. I like just
Sure.
seeing the fireworks playing black, the line going up and boo, and getting
Yeah.
two or three in there, and then moving on and yeah, and monitoring your exposure as you go. That's the tough one, right?
Yeah, it is to
Yeah,
get the color.
yeah,
Some are
yeah,
brilliant, some are brighter than others. Um, Sometimes when you have, there are fireworks when they go up, they bang, and you get all these sparkles.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and they're a little different.
yeah. Everything's yeah. It's interesting. It's you don't know what it reminds me of the old days. You don't know what you're getting until it's over and done, and you look at it at home, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right? When
exactly.
you're using film, or I started doing it many years ago on slide film. Well, you have no clue. You have no
Yeah,
clue for a week until you get it back, right? So you're kind of taking a guess, but that's doing it the hard way.
yeah, and then you have to wait a few months for the next holiday to try to get it right.
Yeah. Back in the day, though, like around the falls, you had it would something would like in this weekend you'd have it on July 1st and July 4th, right? When they had bigger shows over the falls. So that was kind of cool. But now it's like every night for 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. But they'll have a longer one probably tonight and on July 4th or something like that. But yeah, it's fun. I
Okay.
like it.
Now, I've got a good question coming up here. I might have missed it, but what lens? I think that, for the most part, I've used a wide angle lens because I want to catch the whole bloom. And I'm usually fairly close to the fireworks, usually in the crowd. But if you're further away, obviously you're going to have to use a longer focal length. But I think at the most about a 50 millimeter because the fireworks are huge in most cases, unless they're backyard fireworks. But yeah, a wide angle lens would be best. And they're not always in the same spot. That's the other thing that you have to kind of anticipate. They have a large canvas they can paint with fireworks, and consequently, you might want to think about that. When you're taking your photograph, the first couple of shots that go up in the fireworks, you say, okay, one there, one there. That's the area that I have to cover. So a wide angle lens will cover that, and you don't have to move the camera too much in anticipation of where is it going to come up, because if you use a longer focal length you might only get part of a bloom. So wide angle covers the whole canvas that they're going to be using in the sky, and I think that is probably the best way to do it. You can always crop. I hope that answers your question. Let's see, was there something else here? Yes, yes, yes. Another comment. Fixed focal length. Not necessarily. I think Scott's wagging his head and saying no,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
You want options, right? If you do like taking the crowd, well, you might want a wider lens to get the crowd, but then you can zoom in and just get the single fireworks or multiple fireworks without crowds, right? So you want to have the option. You don't want to have to pick up and get closer or back up and move around in the dark because you probably don't have that much time because they're expensive. So yeah, you want the short zoom. If you had a
Okay.
24 to 120 or something like that, you'd be covered very with everything.
Yep. Now I'm just going to, I'm just going to see if I've got, yeah, I've got Steve here too. Good. I'm just making sure I've got everybody on camera. By the way, if you want to join the chat, you can join on Zoom because it's being broadcast through Zoom, or not through Zoom, but being broadcast to Zoom as well as to YouTube. So if you actually want to come on, show some of the work that you've done and participate in the chat, come to the Zoom channel, and you're quite welcome to come here. It's the Zoom is always the same ID and password, always the same. And I won't change that until I really have to. And so far, for a year, I haven't had to. I haven't had anybody come in here that is disruptive or anything. So, yeah, good. All right. Any other questions about fireworks? Anything else?
George, I was
No?
going to show
Yeah.
3 old pictures of fireworks. I was kind of looking for them while you were doing your presentation there, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah. All right. Now, let me just uh, switch that over here so that, let's see, guest form. I'm going to put you in here. And I think I've got you as, let's see, Steve number 6. Yeah, this takes me a minute because
Mhm.
I just have to get you in here first. And here you go. And now your presentation in here. There. You're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, these are old. So you were talking about like trials and whatever, taking these photos. It's funny, I did try doing this on film, and it's exactly what you said. It's like when I got the film back, I'm like, what is this mess I'm looking at? And it was me getting the focal length, everything wrong with the camera. So these are on digital. So like I said, this is quite old. This is 15 years ago now. So this was kind of my second or third attempt at it. This is Hamilton Harbor. Shot these from the high level bridge. So there's actually 3 of them. There we go. There's the second.
Okay,
So
hang on just a second. I've got a
yeah.
question for you. And the question is, um, I noticed that you also had the, if you're looking from the ground up, you also had the trajectory from the ground up of that little bit of fireworks. And let's see, no, that's not. I think I lost you for a minute here. Let's try that. There, yeah, the trajectory going up from the ground, and then the bloom happening. Um, so, like, did you just keep it open and got it by accident? Even before that fireworks went up, you opened the shutter?
I was kind of anticipating it. So I kind of timed between whenever they light them off, right? So it's actually a 10-second exposure, and I think I was at f4. I found the settings, but I can't view them on the screen I'm at now. So because I shoot a lot of lightning as well. So shooting fireworks is the same as lightning, kind of. It's uh you kind of open up your shutter and anticipate, right? So, like I said, with this, it was kind of timed. I knew when they were going to happen. So, and I kind of got a good idea after a couple of shots, like where they would end up in the sky. So, and I kind of framed it that way. Looking back on it, I wish I kind of panned up a little bit more, but it is what it is. So, hope that explains your question there. So,
Yeah,
there's
you know
number.
what? It does. And you know what? I'm looking at those fireworks shots, and I think if you panned up a bit more, you would have got a little bit more space above the fireworks. But I think by shooting the way you did, if that water had been still, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
That
This-
reflection of those fireworks in the water, had that water been still. But I can see that there's some blurring in the water, so there's some movement or little waves or whatever, and you didn't get that beautiful reflection, that mirror of the fireworks. That would have been great.
Yeah. And it was, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit windy that night. So it was July 1st, 2011. So it was a long time ago. So and there was a sailboat there, and I got other pictures of this. They're somewhere. This is just off my Flickr page.
Right.
So, but the sailboat kind of added to everything, made it look nice.
Yeah.
So this is a wider angle, but it's crooked and it looks like crap, to be frank. So, but that's all
Okay.
I
No,
got. But
good. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Good work. Yeah. Any of you guys have any other fireworks shots handy? Okay, well, really, that is what I really wanted to talk about tonight is capturing fireworks because after all, tonight would be fireworks. I'm looking out the window here, and it looks like things are going to be okay for tonight for fireworks, except the ground might be a little bit wet, and that's about it. But and as Scott was mentioning, I don't know how many of you realize this, but Scott, how often do they have fireworks at
10 o'clock
Niagara?
every night. 10 o'clock every night.
And they're good.
Yeah, they're good. They're not long.
Yeah,
So you got to you got to dial in pretty quick. Like they're
yeah,
about, I think, 4 to 6 minutes max, right?
yeah,
And you do have to get in down by the falls, because they shoot them from down below in the gorge, partway down the gorge, so they don't go up high where you can see them all over the city and be anywhere and see them. They want the tourists to stay down by the falls where they can, you know,
yeah. Spend their money.
spend their money more money down by the falls, right? That's the whole
Yeah,
point of them. They're not
yeah.
doing it as a customer service,
No,
relations. They're doing it to keep people in the falls longer.
yeah. That makes
So
sense.
yeah, 10 o'clock you can hear them. Boom, they start, and
So there you go. Every night, 10 o'clock.
yeah,
Go to the falls, 6 minutes, and then go home.
yeah. That's the thing, right? You
Yeah,
got to make sure plan the day or whatever, and finish up with the fireworks. It's a long drive for 4, 5, 6 minutes, whatever it
yeah.
is.
It can
Yeah,
be.
it is.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Well, from here, it's about an hour and a half from
Wow.
Brantford.
Yeah, it's
So
about
yeah, it's
10 minutes from here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And from Hamilton, I think it's about an hour.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much most of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, there are fireworks regularly if you like to shoot fireworks at Niagara Falls. But they're a short time, but they're every time. And fireworks are expensive. I don't even know. I mean, they've got obviously have a budget to do that, some kind of a
Yeah.
tourist budget. Yeah, and
Well, back in the
but
day,
it's
the first ones they used to have, and it's got to be, 35 years ago, a radio station in Buffalo sponsored these firework displays they'd have over the falls, and they were 45 minutes long,
whoa.
and they were simulcast to music. And so they would have all the music playing, and people would bring their portable radios, and they'd have them
Uh-huh.
sit. You wouldn't have to bring your own radio because everybody around you had a radio, and you could go sit there and for 45 shoot fireworks for 45 minutes is a long time, right? For to sit through a fireworks display, it just goes on and on and on. But they would like play Rhapsody in Blue, right, and then have all blue fireworks, and
Yeah,
then they'd change the music and more exciting music that had boom boom going crazy, and then they'd quiet down the music, and then it would be smaller, different kinds. It was really
yeah,
interesting, but that's when I started doing it, but it was on slide film, right? So but you had lots of chances to experiment. You just had to remember what you did because you had no idea when you got it back. There's no exposure information. Like you can't look up exposure
No.
on a slide, right? So yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, I used to remember that whenever I did any experimental photography, I always had a pocket recorder. I think I still have that. Small, I think. What make was it? Oh, I lost my green screen here. Let me just fix that. There. I think that fixed it. Yeah. Nope, I can't find it right now, but I know that I still have it. A little. I think it's a Sanyo or a Panasonic recorder, and I used to uh, talk about the exposure, shutter speed. I used to give it all the information that I had so that later on I would say frame one, this is what I had, frame two, this is what, and so later on I could actually match it up with the images. But when digital came out, I didn't have to do that anymore. It was
So much
fantastic.
different now. You can see everything, you know, all your
Yeah,
settings and color balances and everything. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah. My students don't know how lucky they are.
Yeah,
Right now, I'm
absolutely.
teaching a class at Mohawk every day except today for for the rest of this week and all of next week, every day, and um, I can see how lucky they are. Am I stuck? Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Oh, you're starting to move. There you
yeah,
go. You're moving it live
I
again.
got stuck for a minute. You know, yeah, I'm not real. I'm virtual, so every now and then I have a glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, glitched out.
AI George.
Yeah, George. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Actually, the software that I'm using to do this kind of broadcast with all the ability to be able to switch cameras and channels and so forth, uh, they actually have one instructional where at the beginning of the chat, I could really have an AI or two AI people introducing this chat
Wow.
like as if they were some sort of anchors at a TV station saying, and now we'd like to present to you George Takis and his photography chat with George. Fantastic guy. Wait until you meet him. You're going to, and you can do this whole thing, and it's somebody else saying it, right? And it could be a male female anchor kind of thing. And then you switch to your actual chat and they show up in this window with mm, the red bar, blue background, everything, however you want it. And they would be in their own studio, so it'd be a different studio setting. It'd be like a newsroom kind of setting.
Yeah.
And
Now over to
yeah,
George.
and now over to George. And you pick the people, the faces, and you
Yeah.
pick the voice, the kind of voice that you want from them, and they do it. They do the intro, and they can do the extra. So it
That's
looks like,
crazy.
oh crap, this guy's really professional. Look at the studio. Look at the, and it's not true. But that's the world we're living in. There's fantastic things about it and some things that are fantastically questionable. But I like it.
When again talking about looking up exposures and stuff like that, like I was telling you before we started, I went and did some panning shots at a triathlon for bikes, but I wasn't sure what my exposure should be, so I went back and looked what I did last year and what I liked. And it's like, oh, okay, that was my shutter speed last year, and then that's where I started this year. So just having a bit of history and stuff you can go and look at, because it's always kept with your images, right? So it's kind of nice. You look back at an old slide and you have no idea what you did, right? So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and actually,
Amusement
it's kind of
parks.
interesting that this side toward camera, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. Anyway, is mentioning about you know rides and parks and it's like a light show. It's like painting with light and somebody else is doing it for you. And if you do the long exposures, you'll have all these swirling lights and everything, and that can be quite interesting and entertaining as well. So, yeah, there's uh, there's that. Thank you very much for that. And they do have another comment here. I'm just going to read. Yeah, long exposures at parks. Exactly. Good point. Thank you very much for pointing that out because that's really, if you have a place where they have these rides and like Canada's Wonderland and all that, you can actually experiment there at your leisure with your camera. And then when fireworks comes, it's basically the same principle applies. You won't have to experiment as much. Thank you. Oh, another comment coming in here. Um, I shot some film the other day. My brother passed away in October. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences. He had a Canon T70 film camera. Went out with a roll of Kodak Gold. Camera worked flawlessly, and I got such clear photos too. Yeah, film is amazing, and I think we forget how amazing film was. Different look, and it can be very, very sharp. Um, yeah, I remember when digital first came out, I was doing a whole bunch of comparisons as to sharpness of film versus digital. Well, back then, film had it all over digital. And in some ways, film still has it all over digital, but in a different way today. And that's why I think there's kind of this retro thing happening with even young people going to film, but they're finding it's
But you
expensive.
know, it's not cheap to go film, right?
No,
You start buying rolls of film is expensive, and then trying to get them processed, it's a ridiculous amount of money
yeah,
just to get one roll printed,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or developed even. I don't even know if they're printing them; they're just developing them, and maybe they charge you for the prints. I don't know how they do it, but it's expensive.
yeah.
Yeah. I just got two rolls of film developed and prints was $68. So yeah, it's
And
pricey.
yeah, is that 24s or 36s?
24s.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's crazy. Jeez. You used to have those little photo shacks all over the place back in the day. You drop it off and come back in a day or two and pick up your prints, and they were all printed out and everything else, and it didn't cost you much at all. But then they were doing, they send out almost garbage bags full of film every day out because people were shooting. Everybody shot film because there was no digital back then, but it was insane how much people did and how little it cost back then relatively.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. He's saying here, shot 90% digital, around 10% of film, including Super 8. Yeah, I used to do a lot of shooting with small cameras. What were they? 110, and then because I bought every camera at that time that became available, including the disc camera, and then I was shooting with 35 millimeter. Obviously, when I went professional, um, 35 millimeter. 120 film 4 by 5 is what I actually started with in the studio. Shot 4 by 5 film with a 4 by 5 Polaroid back so we could do test shots. And then it was 120 kind of took over from there, or 220, depending on how long I wanted the film to be. So with a 645 camera, I think I was able to get 15 shots on a 120 roll, 30 on a 220 roll. So and then I had the backs for both 120 and 220 rolls and a Polaroid back again for testing. And yeah, it is expensive, but at least with working in the field, the customers paid for it. And that way I was able to do a little bit of experimenting because I was making some money from it. And the money included, you know, all the other costs that went with it. It wasn't just straight film cost. It was all the other things, including experimentation, because you wanted to be able to do that as a photographer to try different things and not necessarily pay for it yourself. So it was important that the clients paid for that indirectly speaking. Yeah. So um, I don't know. Film is fun. I actually don't shoot any film anymore at all. And I got rid of all my medium format cameras. I got rid of my large format cameras, and now I'm just working with a mirrorless on a hobby basis. And I only kept three clients to this day because they were my favorite clients. And one of them I turned over to a previous student of mine. I said, I'm not going to drive to Mississauga anymore for this client once a year for 2 days, but they were very generous. I mean, they paid properly and they paid for an overnight stay for two people because I always had an assistant with me. Um, yeah, and I just said, okay, I'm retiring from that. I've done it for many, many years, and it's time I quit, and gave it to a student, and they're doing it this year. But the other two, I'm still hanging on to because they're good clients. They're easy shoots. They're headshots basically. So I don't know if any of you guys are doing any sort of pro work. In other words, getting paid for any of the stuff that you do. You should. You should because all of you
A
are
little
doing
bit.
great work.
I used to, but it's been a while.
Yeah. What did you do?
I did weddings and couples, that sort of thing, and actually had a small gig at a car dealership, just photographing inventory there. So that was all right.
Okay. So let's
Yep.
see. He's saying it cost about $89 a roll. I have a local lab that costs about $15 per roll. I do all my own scanning at home. Okay. Yeah, and there's that. Uh, film to digital, and I got a nice little scanner on. Let's see, where did I get the Amazon? I got a nice little scanner that'll scan 35 millimeter slides and film. So, and it's worked out because I had boxes and boxes of carousels of slides, and they were just a storage problem after a while. And so I converted everything to digital, and I'm very happy with that. Now the storage is on a cloud, not in the closet. So I don't know if anybody else has that problem. Let's see, there's another comment here. Uh, I'm glad you're making these comments. That's really contributing to the chat. Um, so they're using a mm, Pentax KP as a main camera and several other DSLRs and some point and shoots. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with some of the point and shoots, man. They're pretty good too these days. And far too many digicams. I stopped buying new, only buy to replace if needed. Yeah, and I had that same problem too. And to this day, I still have some cameras here that I got rid of last week. I took it to Salvation Army. Figured, I don't know. I mean, there were 110. There was disc cameras in there. There was that um, Brownie in there in the box. I think I remember showing you that. And yeah, I mean, I've got no use for it. It just takes up space, and I don't have much space left. Uh, Student school photo shoots can make a good amount of dollars, just as when I did about 2 hours and made very good income. Yeah, um, early in my career in photography, I had a friend of mine, and he and his wife did a lot of high schools throughout southern Ontario. And he did that for many years before he actually retired from it. There was one occasion where he said, I'm short a photographer because he usually had four photographers. They were specialty cameras that he used, long film rolls in them. 120, I believe, was a 2.5 inch or 2.25 inch film. Um, that's what he was using, and I forget what the cameras were actually called, but they're big big cameras. And I did a high school for him with him, and I have to tell you, after I did that high school, I said to him, I was happy to do this for you, but don't ever call me to do this again. Oh, please. It was brutal. I mean, they're lined up and you're shooting, shots as quick as possible and, do this, tilt this, and you want to make sure that their, hair is right and everything else. You want to make sure that they get good shots because that's where the sales come from. And working with high school students, it was a challenge that I don't want to repeat. And I can understand how after a few years, these photographers burn out. They really do. They get out of that business totally. You can take it for a while, but
Yeah, that would be a grind.
it is. It is a grind, man.
Yeah, hauling all the equipment in, and if you got four photographers in one school, it's four setups you got to have, and the cameras, and then you got to match the names to the people that you have no idea who they are. You don't even know if you're right half the
Yeah,
time, I'm assuming. A lot goes on, not the day of the shoot that has to come into place. It would be a yeah, it would be a one and done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, these people had a science. They knew exactly what they were doing, how they were
Yeah.
doing it. They were able to do it right, and they did all the photographs for the grads, all the photographs for the undergrads. All the students were shot. You take a school that's got 1,500 students in it. You're there for a couple of days, all day, and wow.
And then with digital, at least like, well, then they can't they fill out a form and say, what color background do you want? What background do you want? You have like 10 different backgrounds, and they'll cut the kid out and put them up against the
Oh
background
yeah,
you want, and which pose and all this kind of stuff. And
oh yeah,
they have their standard 5 or 6 shots they do, and on to the next one, and then you build the picture on paper
yeah,
afterwards. And yeah, it's and they're not cheap either.
yeah. Oh no, oh no,
I remember,
oh no.
and my kids have been out of high school for a while. They're not cheap.
Um, they made good money. I mean, they paid me well too. But I'll tell you, he lived well off of the high school shoots that he did, and he did some
Yep.
public schools. But his main area was high schools because of obviously they had many students, and they needed. And then there were the grad pictures, right? So he was back there for
Hmm.
the grad shoots, with the gowns and the mortar boards and everything else. So yeah, I didn't. After I did that shoot, I said, I don't envy you, man. I just I'm going to stick to my commercial stuff, you know, because cans of beans don't give me a problem when I'm shooting them.
I helped a photographer that he was a sports photographer, team photographer, not actual on the field. And we did the groups and individuals. It was digital, and I just sent him the stuff, gave him my card. He downloaded it. I picked that up at another time, and yeah, it's challenging, annoying, and boring
Yeah,
all at the same time. And then we did some gymnastics, little gymnastics clubs where that you have to the teacher has to be there, the instructor has to be there to put him in a pose with these arms up and one leg or this or whatever you want to do. I hey, get them to do whatever they do, and I'll take the picture, right? And I remember doing it once, and I couldn't say anything. I had laryngitis, so I get the group kids in a group. I said, I can't talk, so you can't talk. because I can only whisper and you have to be quiet so you can hear me. And it was nice, dull. The sound came way down, and the kids were great, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
certainly isn't what you would call creative photography by any
No,
stretch, right?
no, not really.
No.
And you're happy when it's done.
Yes, very happy, and I did weddings and stuff
Yeah.
too, and that's a young man's game. I'm too old for that crap anymore. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so am I.
That's
It's a long day, man. It's a long day,
yeah, that's a lot of
and
work.
it's a long,
Now I do some stuff for some of the hotels when they have a conference and they want the conference covered,
yeah,
which is easy because you're shooting people that aren't even paying attention to
yeah,
you at a conference. And some of the speakers, and then they always want a group shot, which is kind of quick. If once you've done a few of them, you can pull it off pretty
yeah,
quick. Sometimes you need lighting, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's inside, sometimes it's outside, and charge accordingly, and you can make some pocket money.
yeah. And you can if you price it correctly, you can certainly
Yeah,
make some money and make it worthwhile your time. Event photography like that is something else that we did a lot of, um, but let's see, we did event photography mostly in the Kitchener, Hamilton, Brantford area. Nothing west of us, interestingly enough. And Hamilton was good because they had a lot of industry there. We did a lot of work with Procter and Gamble in Hamilton. We even did setups for their annual uh, event for the employees, where they had, you know, roast pork on a spit, or several of
oh yeah,
them. And
yeah.
yeah, and then they,
And
yeah, go ahead.
the things now is like with the digital, with a pretty good digital camera, you can pretty much turn the ISO up, and you don't need to bother them with a flash.
Yeah,
And some of the hotels, the light's pretty dim and crappy, but you can still save it afterwards in post
yeah,
and make it look reasonable, and they're quite happy with it. So,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you don't have to, oh my God, I only brought 200 speed film, right?
Yeah,
When I really need like 4,000.
yeah.
So, yeah,
I think
it's a
the worst
different
horror
world out
story
there.
with film, the worst horror story with film is um, you didn't load it properly.
Happened to me.
You know,
Yeah.
because you don't know. Okay, the as you're advancing the film, it's counting, so you're thinking it, you know. And when you first this if this first happens to you, you don't think of looking at the rewind crank, that it's not moving. But
I did that at a hotel. I was shooting like the ballroom and stuff, empty, but it was set up for something, and we were there. I'm shooting away and everything else, and we go to shoot something else, and I realized, well, I didn't have any film in my camera,
yeah,
like nothing. Wasn't even like I was trying. I go, you know what? Let's go back and see if we can take a few more of that other one. I want to make sure I got
yeah,
it. Well, I never told him I didn't.
right,
You know,
right,
I took a whole bunch of zeros,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But you know what?
But
I
yeah,
always say
well,
that one of the signs of a professional is that if he's given something that he shot before, he can do it again exactly the same, maybe a different product or a different situation, but he can make it look like the original, lighting, everything else,
yeah,
repeating. The other sign of of a professional is that they catch the mistake before the shoot's over,
Hmm.
yes,
and that is so important. Because, and that's happened to me a few times when not many, mind you, but a few times when I said, oh, didn't get that right, and or something didn't work properly. And like you said, I don't tell them, oh, this didn't work. No, I say, you know what, I'd like to do that again. I think I can do a better job. And I retake the shot. But once you
yeah. Some
leave,
other excuse
once
to
you
get
leave,
back in.
yeah,
Yeah.
once you leave, you're cooked, man. If you didn't catch it.
Well, I took a buddy with me to do a job, and we had an um, 80 person group shot. So I had two lights and umbrellas set up, flooded it all and everything else. I didn't have a wide enough lens. I had a 24. He had a 15. So he said, okay, here we go, blah, blah, blah. He set up his camera and handed it to me. In in the process of handing it over, he changed the exposure and opened it up 2 stops. And I shot the pictures and everything else, and I go, here, check it and see if it's all right. He looked and it was like really bright and nothing was blinking, so I knew we weren't overexposed. So we pulled it back in post, and nobody was the wiser, and it looked really good actually.
Yeah.
But you got to check things. They wanted to be out of there quick, so they were all mostly gone, and we're looking and going, "Ooh, man." So until we got it processed, I was not sleeping that well.
Yeah, I bet. We
It
just
does happen.
yeah, we just had another note come in that the high school photos are like mini fashion shoots. They have 2 clothing changes, and these days, yes, I mean, the students are really fashion conscious. Back in my day, we didn't care one way or the other what we were wearing, really, but now, wow, I can imagine. And there's another message here. They want a certain look, and we had to pick a location at a beach, at a park. Oh, really? Oh man, that would be a chore. So the students here hire photographers. The schools don't provide in-school photos. Yeah, that would be tough. I know that.
Yeah, I think that's more of an American thing, isn't it?
Oh, probably, but
I
I
believe.
know that here,
Yeah.
the people that I did that one photo shoot with, and they were doing this on a very high scale professional level. Um, the people that they had to convince to hire them to do the grad shots and all of that was the students' council. The school admin stayed out of it. They would interview the photographers would show their portfolio. They had other things that they contributed as well. They would contribute a certain percentage of the take to to their sports team or something. They would contribute um, certain other things that for example, what um, well, they wouldn't contribute. They also sold framed photographs, so you could pick a frame. They also had they also were affiliated with an outfit that would give school rings.
Class rings,
Yeah,
yeah.
class rings and all kinds of stuff. So they had all this other stuff that they could contribute to sell them as the photographer of choice for their grad shoots and
I think
for the
I think certain part of that's called kickback, right?
yeah, it is. It is. Well,
Yeah.
that's really what it is. Yeah. You hire us and we'll give you some money from what we get. Yeah, I guess it
And then
works.
that's how they end up charging you $40 for an 8x10,
Well, that's right.
right?
Yeah, so yeah, your 40 bucks is going elsewhere too.
Yeah,
But well, these days, of course,
it's
I don't know
business.
how they work the digital aspect of it. Um, I know that my grandkids they get proofs, 4x6 proofs of the shots that were taken, and they have watermark on them so that they can't be copied. Uh, I mean, they can be copied, and if you want to spend the time with Photoshop, you can do it. I don't know. With AI, you could probably do it real quick. Get rid of the watermark. Boom, gone. You know, I don't know, but yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 8:04. Time for us to call it a night, so you can go out and shoot the fireworks. Let's see. Okay, what? Let's see. Oh, you're from the U.S. What part of the U.S. are you from? May I ask?
I remember this guy south of Boston, I think he said.
Yeah,
Yeah, like senior photos and that kind of stuff are more an American thing as opposed to school pictures, which a Canadian thing. It's kind of like they come in and do everybody at once, like you're saying. It's just different way of doing things,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I know that
But senior
a lot.
senior
Yeah, go ahead.
it was senior photography over the river, and we I'm from the Falls. We call it over the river. On the American side is huge business.
Yeah,
It's really big
it
business.
is. And I think a lot of
Yeah,
uh, the trends that happen in the States a year or two later, they're in Canada. Like when the public school grads from grade 8 graduated, we didn't wear gowns or mortarboards. They do now, you know, and they even rent limousines. And how did that come
yeah,
about? Well, you're watching US TV, and
yeah,
and on the
exactly.
TV the kids are doing it, so they say we should do that, and try to convince the parents otherwise.
When I graduated grade 8, we had a dance in the gym
Yeah,
at the school. At the school, my kids graduated grade 8. It was a big, huge gala event, and all the parents came and blah blah blah, and it was the gowns, and they couldn't the girls trying to walk in heels for the first time and getting their hair done, and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. It's grade 8.
yeah,
Like, good for you, but come on, like, but whatever, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was interesting.
I'm just writing down.
When my son had
Yeah, go ahead.
when my son had his graduation party, um, big dance party thing and gala and the whole 9 yards, I picked him up. He went with this girl he was interested in,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "Well, how'd it go?" "Oh, it went great." And then he goes, "Oh, her name's Megan. Megan and I are going out." And I go, Where are you going?" He goes, "No, like we're going out. We're going steady." And I go, "Oh, I thought I had like a little more time before this was going on. They're both 13." Well, 4 years ago they got married.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah, they stayed together the whole time, right from grade 8 graduation till they got married 10 years to the date of their graduation. So it's insane.
Yeah,
You never know.
you don't see that too often anymore.
No, not in today's world, that's for sure.
No. Oh, that's something. And you got to wish them luck and hope they never need it.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh no, they get along great.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night so you can. By the way, for our American friend, it's Canada Day today. It's our 4th of July, so to speak. And consequently, I'm wearing my Canada t shirt and celebrating tonight. Actually, I'm on the 5th floor of an apartment and I'm looking out and I can see where the fireworks are going to be happening. There's 2 or 3 parks nearby that the city supplies the fireworks for, and we can see them all. So I get a grand show here. Yeah. But
I'm tempted to go now.
having said that, please give us a like for this particular uh, edition. And if you would, please subscribe because all of that helps us. With that, I'm going to say good night, happy Canada Day, and for our American friend, happy 4th of July when it appears here or there. And yeah, you can celebrate with us. We'll celebrate with you. How's that?
Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Good night.
Good
See
night.
you
Night.
next week.